Order at 6:05. Going to report that there was no action taken in closed session. Attendance roll call. President Maxfield here. Clerk Ellerson. Trustee Lopez is absent. Trustee DeGiulio. Here. And Trustee Hunt.
Here.
Would you all stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance? Oh, excuse me, sorry. Are you here?
Yes.
It's not on there. Face the flag. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, item number 8, agenda. Anything to add or subtract from the agenda? Looking for a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Number 9, district mission statement. We are a collaborative, culturally rich, educational community where a rigorous and innovative curriculum prepares our students to be successful contributors to our global system. Moving on to public comments. Public comments from the floor, non-agendized items. This portion of the agenda allows an individual the opportunity to address the board on any item regarding board business that is not on the agenda. Without taking action or entering into dialogue with the public, board members may briefly respond to statements made or ask clarifying questions about topics posed by the public. Your matter may be referred to administration. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. And whoever does come up to the podium, if you just state your name.
Hello, I'm Sean, and I have kids at the elementary school. I'm here on behalf of the music department at both the elementary school and high school. On November 28th, we have a special guest, Stephen Kent, who will be at the elementary school playing the didgeridoo, and you are more than welcome to come watch him play. Everyone is invited to come watch the school's winter concerts. The elementary school will be singing and performing Australian music. Transitional kindergarten through 3rd grade will be at 6:30 on Tuesday, December 6th. And 4th through 6th grade will be on Thursday, December 8th. Rumor has it that Mr. Olson will be playing didgeridoo. The high school will also be singing and performing Russian music on Tuesday, December 13th at 7:30 p.m. The Culinary Arts Department will be making Russian cookies for the event. And we also hope to have other departments participate as well from the high school. Thank you.
Quick question. What's a didgeridoo?
It's a musical instrument, really big, long, different sizes.
Like the French, like the Alps, the Swiss Alps.
Really just blow through it.
It's Australian.
Austrian?
Australian.
Australian. Thank you.
My name is Ellen, and there are some young ladies who are here tonight that are student athletes at our high school. And all of these young ladies that have come tonight and a few others would like to play JV basketball this year. And I know that they are nervous, but I hope that some of them will get up here and tell you exactly how they feel and what they would like to them as well, so that you can hear them in their voice. As you may or may not know, some of our students are currently uncomfortable playing for our current varsity basketball coach. He has a reputation of being verbally abusive to his players. Students have complained about the student. Parents have complained directly to the coach and to the athletic director about his demeanor. Some of the complaints have been things like he belittles and berates student athletes and shames them among their peers. During a basketball game last year, the same coach was seen grabbing a senior female player by her arm as she came off the court and yelled at her, "What the F are you doing?" How this coach is still affiliated with our schools is beyond me, but what is more upsetting to me is that last year, our JV players, our student athletes were given the opportunity of choosing to play JV instead of varsity. And this year, that has not been given them as an option. They were told that there would be no JV team. So after various reasons were given, a request was made to our principal to reconsider, and his response was that there were 10 interested girls who had the grades to play, he would make a JV team. So now there's a list of 12 girls who have grades and want to play, some of which are here tonight. And then yesterday, after 7 p.m., all of the players were notified by a text message that they had a mandatory practice tryout with the varsity coach today, and if they didn't show up and report to practice with that coach, they would not be allowed to play and there would be no JV team. And I don't understand why at this point, these athletes, these girls, are being forced to have interaction with a coach that's clearly making them feel uncomfortable. I think they have good reason to feel uncomfortable, and I'm asking the board to compel the athletics department to accommodate the needs of these athletes and allow them to have a JV team. The athletics department exists for our kids, not for our coaches. And it should be there to serve them. So I also don't think that any student athlete should have to weigh how much they want to play sports against how much work will be served. And I also hope that you appreciate the effort that these girls are making to be here tonight and to take part in their process. Some of them felt intimidated today when they were called out of their academic classes to the office, where they were questioned about why they were coming to this board meeting tonight, and they were told that they were taking the issue too personally. But they're here, and so I hope that you receive what they have to say.
I've been playing basketball since I was in 7th grade. This year I didn't want to play basketball because as a senior you're usually like, okay, you have to play varsity, you know? But I don't feel that way, and I don't feel like I should play varsity. And Mike has given us like the grade. He's giving us that push that makes us feel like you guys should play basketball and you guys should have a JV team. And you guys should come fight for that. And today, there was tryouts at 4:30, and even before these girls could even go, I was told that the current coach had he already had the varsity team, so you guys would be just trying out like the JV. But we already have 14 girls that do want to play JV and that are committed and that do have grades, and I just feel like we should have that chance to have a JV team.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Well, thank you girls for coming. We appreciate it. David, do you want to?
Sure. So,
push it all the way.
so let me just kind of go through the timeline on the hiring and everything that we're doing for the basketball program. About 2 weeks ago, October 24th, there was a lunchtime meeting for basketball tryouts. At that meeting, it was announced what the eligibility requirements are, the 2.0 grade point average, the forms that need to be turned in, which are the physical, the emergency form, the concussion form, the bus waiver, and those are the forms that every athlete needs to turn in order to be eligible to participate in sports. In addition, if they played a sport previously, they had to turn in equipment before they can go on to the next sport. So those were explained at the meeting, and the meeting was held a couple weeks ago so that kids could get those necessary paperworks together and turn those in, so that today, which is the first day that we can hold tryouts, kids would be eligible to participate in them. At that time, we had 18 boys and 16 girls come to the meeting. Last year, we were concerned about the number of students that we had because basketball covers winter break, and during winter break, kids go off, so there are times when the teams shrink and they expand because of eligibility. Also grades, the first semester ends at the end of December, and so eligibility, then we have to look at grades again at the end of the semester. So we just wanted to make sure that we had enough boys and girls to form 2 teams at the end of, so that at the end of the school year or the end of the season, we have more than 5 or 6 kids per team. So that was kind of why, going forward, we wanted to look at the numbers of kids that actually showed up. We had posted positions for the JV coach in the spring. We had 1 applicant that we interviewed. Unfortunately, before we could recommend to our superintendent the position, he had already taken another position at another school. The postings are still live and on EdJoin. I believe they closed at the end of November. We've gotten very few. I believe 3 boys or 4 boy applicants and 3 applicants to the girls JV position. We're going through and interviewing. We held interviews last week because another one came up last week, so we interviewed that applicant. We were in line to do a second one, but he had an accident before the interview happened, so we're trying to reschedule. And then a third applicant we have scheduled for tomorrow. So we're working to get qualified JV coaches. So if you have any other recommendations and know anybody else that would be willing to apply for the position, it's always there on EdJoin. So as I was explaining to the girls, there's a process for hiring. Once we do interviews, we check, we do reference checks, and then we make a recommendation to the superintendent, who then either approves or disapproves, and then forwards it on to you as the board. So that's where we are right now. We are waiting to see how many kids we have. I'm glad that these ladies came out tonight. I know several of them have played sports, so what they would need to do is turn in their uniforms, and then they would get their credentials, a green piece of paper that shows that they're cleared. Once they've gotten their credential, then they're eligible for the next sport. And so, I'm hoping to see more of them turn in those credentials so that we have good numbers, so that we know that we have enough kids to play at different levels. I know that in the gym tonight, as they mentioned, there were some tryouts, and there were 10 boys and 14 girls at those tryouts. So that's a healthy number. As I said, we need big numbers because with grades coming, with holidays, it's always better to have the bigger teams. And if these 14 young ladies also add to it, that's definitely more than enough to hold both a JV program as well as a varsity program.
It was at that meeting which Mr. Kumamoto referenced where the first notice that there would not be a JV team.
I actually have a question.
So,
May I say something? Is that a yes?
Well, briefly,
Sure.
so I don't want to get into a he said, she said,
Oh, I'm not interested in he said, she said. What I would like to, I have 2 things to clarify. One of them is a question and one of them is a statement. And so my statement is that having the 14 girls that want to participate in JV is fantastic. However, why are those girls being told that if they do not go to the varsity tryout practices, which are mandatory, that they will not be allowed to play and there will be no JV? Because on the one hand, if you're saying you can participate and this is what you have to do, and then on the other hand say, but if you don't follow these rules, then you can't play, then you're not encouraging them to participate. So that's my question.
It seems like there's a solution. Girls come out to show up, and we get how many people, and we see who plays JV.
So you're recommending that they show up to the practice with the varsity coach, which makes them uncomfortable, and which they are trying to specifically avoid by having a JV team?
Has that been addressed? Has that been addressed? Is that, when you come in here and say those things, we have to talk about it. Has that been addressed here in the club?
Excuse me. We really cannot, I will advise the board not to discuss any personal issues.
I know.
I think we're getting to the point
I
that
want to tell them that we're going to work on it.
okay. Well, you know, the question would be if there were any concerns have been brought to any of the immediate supervisors of the coach. I was not aware of any concerns related to personnel.
Moving on.
All right, great, thanks guys.
Any other public comments? Again, girls, thank you for showing up. Anybody else? No? Moving on, 11.0, reports, recognition, information, discussion items. 11.1, culinary arts update, Ed Berg. And by the way, that bread was fantastic.
We're only going to get that Don't mind me, I'm going to be walking around for a bit, just how I roll. So ladies and gents, welcome to the Culinary at Calistoga, pending of course, we're still figuring out a cool name. We're looking at Cali Cooks as an alternative. Still got to make it a little more specific to Calistoga, but it's a process. Have a little bit of struggle here. So don't mind me, I guess I will be a little bit stationary and very comfortable while I'm at it. Alright, so first I want to tell you a little bit about our final exam last year. We had a 3-course meal with a couple of guests. We did a lot of crazy stuff. We did a charcuterie plate, we did a salad, we did some braised chicken thighs. It was awesome. We had bread, and dinner rolls, and we made ice cream. We made something called crack pie. It's a goofy name, a wonderful pie. I think in the very near future, all of you will have an opportunity to try some. So overall, our final exam was a lot of fun. It really pushed students to reflect upon what they learned. It was also an excellent opportunity because students panicked a little bit and then had to work through that panic in a very constructive way. All right, so one of our big focuses is professionalism. We talk about this a lot in class. They are high school students, of course. They're a process of learning. There are things that we have to do. And so we have to separate ourselves. This is not a class. This is a job. We show up on time, we do our work, we do our standards, and we do our best every single day. And as such, we are focusing on food safety. We are now offering a manager-level ServSafe certification to all of our students. We are in discussions about what value that brings. For a little bit of context, every restaurant, every place that serves food that are potentially hazardous has to have someone in-house at that time with the ServSafe certification. So having students on hand that do meet that qualification really goes a long way to demonstrate their competencies and increase their availability for hiring. So since we have 2 levels in class, we are able to have station chefs. These are second-year students that can demonstrate professionalism and management techniques. We're having wonderful competitions. We're having opportunities to motivate our team to do better and better every day, and really drive student engagement. So one of the fun things we do in class is we focus on mise en place. It's the idea of preparation for our events. We are taking this as far as we can go. Up until very recently in my entire life, I thought I had to buy vinegar at the store. I recently discovered that that's not the case. We can make vinegar, and so we do. So we actually make vinegar in-house. It tastes awesome. However, it needs to be tested before we give it to students because there may still be trace amounts of alcohol that we have to deal with or allow to ferment even further. So it's kind of an interesting conversation with students because I'll tell them like it tastes great, but we have to test it and pasteurize it before you can try it. So they're very understanding of that. And we'd also like to take an opportunity to introduce you to our class starter. He's a class pet. His name is Theodore. He is a sourdough starter. He's kind of a jerk. If you don't feed him regularly, he will smell awful. So every day in class, students will feed him. This is going to, meet some cost. Take it as far as we can go. We use Theodore in just about every single bread product that we have, and it leads to a much stronger flavor profile than you would get with commercially prepared yeast. So a big push this year at second level is starting a business. Our textbook requires us to do a business plan write-up. We want to take it to the next level. We want to actually start a business. Our business is going to be funded. So we talked to students. We had a crazy story about, hey, what if we raise funds and this entire class, plus a couple of chaperones, went to Paris? What if we raised enough funds that we could go to New York and do a culinary adventure? What if we went down the street to Yountville, had an amazing meal, a Michelin-rated restaurant, because we started a business, and we did the time, we did the work, we raised the funds, and we could do some really, really cool stuff. And every week, students are coming back with even more grandiose plans that we then put in the paper and we set goals to. We now have 14 funding levels that we'd like to hit, ranging all the way up to a summer in the countryside of France, which is going to be tremendously expensive, but if we can reach those goals, so it's a little bit extra steps in that we actually now have to do what we say we're going to do. We're going to start a business, and so that's a very exciting adventure for us. So on a related note, we are preparing products for ASB, calling it High School Prom. We want to reward students on campus. We want to have an experience where ASB can sell culinary arts products, raise funds for things like prom, senior trip, and other related expenses. Our goal is to have an entirely free extracurricular experience by way of fundraising through culinary arts. We are very excited to have guest speakers. In fact, we're starting a really exciting big program where we have guest speakers on campus. So many of our teachers on campus are amazing cooks, and we're going to be inviting them into our classrooms with coverage from Mr. Wyckoff during their 7th period. So these teachers are going to be demonstrating a technique that is near and dear to their heart. In fact, tomorrow is our first experience with Dr. Mondragon. We're going to be making hormigas rellenas and huevos, so that's meatballs over eggs, which is really exciting. So we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks. The kids are pumped. We can't wait. We're also looking at making some really wonderful holiday treats. As mentioned earlier, we're going to do some Russian cookies for the music concert that's coming up. So it's going to be very exciting. We are also looking at opportunities outside of our kitchen. Some students have expressed an interest. I want to butcher large cuts of meat. We don't have a facility for that, so we're having a conversation about how we as a class can go outside of school, do a field trip, maybe do a half hog each cross. Again, it goes back to that fundraising platform. When we go out and start a business, we can do a lot of things that tailor to specific student interest. So that's pretty exciting as well. And last but not least, thank you. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, I'm happy to hear them. Exciting stuff.
Your bread with the nationwide bread.
So bread is a big deal for us. It demonstrates a lot of technique, it demonstrates a lot of technical knowledge. Last week, our students made what we refer to as unnecessary bread. It's a no-knead bread, no-knead unnecessary. So we made some. We had a conversation about what bread is. We had a conversation about this particular bread is very, very high hydration, so you can hang on the cooler for a little bit and pick up a little extra flavor. Every single one of our students was so pumped to eat the bread, however, they wanted to bake it the next day. So it's kind of a like bread texture, nothing wrong with that, but then we're going back to that sour flavor, so we're very excited.
Good, great. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Ed.
Exciting. Very exciting. 11.2, College and Career Center update. Ms. Carla Serber, College and Career Coordinator. Was what I said, right?
Yeah?
Yeah, there you go.
Good, okay. First, I think this is my 10th presentation to the board. Been here 8 years. Marco DiGiulio was on the board at my first presentation. He was a friendly face. I was very nervous, but I'd already met with him and Maria because Dario was in my 7th grade English class. So thank you so much for your service to this community. Really appreciate all your support. So now let me talk about one of the wonderful things that you've been supporting, all of you. So the College and Career Center, there we go. I have an essential question that's been guiding my work all year, and that is aligned to the school's mission statement, which is to close the achievement gap by preparing all students for college and career readiness and success in our global society. I've been focusing on making sure that students are aware of their options. So we've been looking at the various paths they can take, how do we plan for that, and what promises can we make as a school and a district to help support them. At the beginning of the year, we explored those paths. We were very fortunate to have Santa Rosa Junior College come out and present all of their CTE pathways. They have over 100 certificates that students can earn there. Our students didn't know that. They think of those JCs as a place where you go for 2 years, hopefully, and then you move on. So they were very excited to learn about these different career paths that were available to them. And all seniors and juniors also attended the NBC Transfer Day. There were over 50 universities represented there, so they really got to talk to a lot of different recruiters and see out a lot of different options. It also gave us an opportunity to talk about transfer agreements. So the goal there is to make sure that if they do go to a junior college first, that they have a plan for moving on from the junior college. And transfer agreements are a great way to make sure that they stay on track. Michelle Craig Morales and I have had 2 senior workshops now. The first one was to talk about fall priorities. Get them to talk to us about whether their plan was to do a 4-year or a 2-year. We talked about the cost of college. We talked about financial aid and how to begin doing those applications. FAFSA opened early this year, October 1st, and Mr. Kumamoto and I met with 31 students and 10 parents in the school library. That was a Saturday. We provided the donuts and the pizzas, and they brought their tax returns. And as of today, well no, actually as of October 21st, we're a little higher now, 55% of the seniors have already finished their FAFSA or DREAM Act application. My goal is 100%, but I already have one student who said they're not going to do it, so I'm a little disappointed. Maybe next year. And our Andaki scholars and I, 7 of them, 6 or 7 of them, attended a Fulfilling the Dream conference at Santa Rosa Junior College this past Friday. I also had 3 parents join us. Great workshops on how to access financial aid. And one of the tidbits I left that conference with was the need to mention the opportunities for undocumented students every time we had even a general conversation about post-secondary education. Because so many of them are hiding in the shadows and they don't know what's available to them, and it just needs to be part of our ongoing discourse with all of our students so that they're aware. I've been exploring Promise programs. I had an opportunity to go to a conference in Oakland a few months ago. These Promise programs are sprouting up all over the country. It's a consortium of institutions working together to ensure that students' first and sometimes second year of college or post-secondary education is paid for. What we know is we can get the kids out the door, we can get them on the college campus, they make it through their first year, we send them off with those generous local scholarships, and it just gets harder every year. So I'm really curious about these Promise programs because I think that it's a way to sustain them further along into the process. I also had the opportunity to work with an ELAC group a month or so ago. I guess a month ago, they just met again, and gave the parents the opportunity to answer these driving questions. And you're all parents, so you have a pretty good idea what their answers were. But it was really powerful to hear it from them, and then to work with them to show them also what the opportunities are and what's available for their students and what's available to support them. And they ask at the end if we could next talk about what a financial aid awards look like and how do we choose the best package. So I'm working on putting that together. We went through these numbers too. So weekly earnings, this is from 2015. And less than a high school diploma, $493 a week. Move up to a bachelor's degree, $1,137 a week, national average. So we're showing this to both students and parents. And the unemployment rate is affected as well, as you would expect. 8% if you have less than a high school diploma, 2.8% for the bachelor's degree. So helping parents see this and understand this, they all want their children to go to college, but educating them around what the various paths are that are available to them is so empowering for them, frankly. Paying for college, teaching students and parents how to use the net price calculators. By law, all colleges have to provide a net price calculator on their website. You put in a few numbers and you have a really clear picture of what it's going to cost. Talked about federal grants and loans, state grants, institutional grants, loans, fee waivers, and then of course the scholarships. We talked about the focus in elementary being on literacy and numeracy and developing good habits, setting goals, and especially getting them to dream and to think about and explore what they're passionate about. Having been a 7th grade teacher for a while, it's hard when they come to us and they really don't know what they want to do. You know? I think somewhere between maybe 2nd or 3rd grade and 7th grade, they lose it a little bit and we need to sustain it. The focus in junior high obviously is the academic focus of the A through G requirements. Career tech classes, college and career exploration. We're looking at internships. We have a few internships set up. Jen has been working with the various parties who are involved to make sure that we can send some students out. We've got one out in the field now, and we're working on sending a couple more out over the next couple of weeks. Haven't started any job shadowing yet, so if you've got ideas, please email me. And then college visits. Hashtag up next is this great app that refers to this great app that students can put on their phone that will walk them through all the steps they need to be doing to transition into college. So ongoing support for the students. We're going to have senior workshop. We did have senior workshop number 2. They're all working on their local scholarships, which is great. I'll have those in my hands by November 18th so that we can have them out to the donors with the new year. And another parent workshop, the Understanding the Financial Aid Award offers is in the making. Partnerships, we're setting up some dual enrollment opportunities with NBC. Was it 60%, Craig, of the seniors in workshop 2 expressed an interest in taking an NBC college preparatory class, right? The basics of college, I think it's 1 credit. It will be on our campus after school on Wednesdays. And 60% of the seniors said, yeah, I want to do that. The internships, of course. The family literacy, that's the Valley Family Center has the family literacy. That's all about reading a book that talks about it, somebody going to college and how you do that. And then I'm always talking about the Calistoga Promise, trying to put something together there.
What is your Calistoga Promise? What was it?
Well, there are promise programs all over the country. 19 with community colleges in California. So, for example, Long Beach has a Long Beach Promise. It's one of the older, more established ones in California. That's Long Beach Unified School District, CSU Long Beach, and the community college. And every senior graduating from Long Beach Unified School District is guaranteed 2 years of post-secondary education that's funded for them, filling the gap. So some of them are first dollar, some of them are last. The last dollar fills the financial aid gap.
Excellent, Connor. Thank you for all your help. And I think it's great that we're starting these things earlier.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, appreciate it. CES Principals Report, Nicole.
All right, good evening, everyone. So I just have a few quick updates. First of all, on October 28th, we had our first annual Halloween Safety Carnival. And that was a collaboration with PTA, Boys and Girls Club, and the Calistoga Police Department. We had originally intended on about 150, maybe 175, maybe 200 at most, and we ended up with 300 students. So we were pretty excited, and really it validated just what a unique community we're in, because as soon as we started to realize that those numbers were getting that high, the police department right away said, all right, we're going to hop in the car, we got some extra things to be able to hand out for the trick-or-treating stations. We were able, and so all students were able to get safety items in their Halloween bags, and so that was really exciting. Next thing I'd like to talk about is this week we have a modified schedule for our parent conferences. Staff last year recommended to move our conferences closer to when the report cards came out, so that they could take an opportunity to really walk parents through the report cards. I know today I did some translation work, and parents do have questions about looking at those report cards and saying, well, what does a 4 mean? What does exceeding standard mean? What does a 3 mean? And so we're taking that as an opportunity to provide education for our families and understanding the report cards, which have changed recently with Common Core. And then finally, at the end of this month, while students are going to be getting a week for Thanksgiving holiday, we're going to be having 2 professional development days. The first day is going to, for us, is going to be focusing on further refinement of using our New Wonders program. And the second day, we are looking forward for our grades 4 through 6 students to do some articulation with the junior, senior high. And then we'll be doing more site-specific things in the afternoon.
Great, thank you. Are you good?
So I'm going to just talk a little bit about Palisades. Last week we went on a field trip with the Palisades students, 12 students, myself and Ms. Hanson. We visited San Francisco and went through the Mission District to look at the murals. This is a project that they had started last year, looking at murals and maybe creating a mural for Palisades. And so we thought we would take them to Cressida Eyes in the Mission District on 24th. And we walked up and down the streets and looked at different types of murals. We looked at spray paint murals. We looked at murals that had more symbolism. And the kids were really, fascinated by it, and they could see, themselves in some of the murals. So they really enjoyed that part. The second half of the day, we went to Alcatraz, because in their government class, they're studying about prisons and just other things that relate to the prison system. And so we took a trip over to Alcatraz and walked through and went to the cells. And the kids were so amazed at how small those cells are, 5 by 7 by 9 by 7 tall. And when they stood in there, they really got a feel of how constricted they were. But then when they went into solitary confinement, they got a different perspective of how lonely it could feel also. That was a great opportunity. We got that as a grant from CEF, and we have plenty of pictures to show. And the kids are now reflecting on the trip. And today, I know Sandy was doing some writing activities with them. So that was a wonderful day on the bay, and we had great weather. We didn't have to worry too much. It was a fun trip.
Great, thank you, David.
I'm just going to briefly talk about some things that are on our report. Carly mentioned the NBC class. This came as, being parents, you have kids in college, you listen to your kids and they say, if I'd only known. So I had this idea and I talked to NBC, and that's what they're going to come do. They're going to come sort of provide if I had only known, almost a boot camp to get ready for college. And the great thing about it is our students are going to get college credit. So when they start signing up for classes, they'll have priority registration for everybody who has 0 classes. They'll have 1 unit, which is going to be really fabulous. Another idea that came out of a meeting I had with Karen was, how can we honor our athletes? And so we had a discussion, and knowing Karen Yoder, our athletic director, she ran with it, and we put on this amazing rally last Friday. It was fabulous. kids were all pumped up. We honored every single fall athletic student, and then she also honored those students who had made the honor roll in 4.0 and 3.6 athletic students, which is, as you know, very difficult to participate in sport, and then also have amazing grades. So Karen, I want to thank you for putting on a wonderful rally last Friday. It was just fabulous. Our Interact, which is supported by our local Rotary Club, is working on a service project. I don't know if you went to Calmart and saw them out front. They were drumming up support for money to help with polio, right? And we did an amazing job, and I was really proud of the Interact Club. It's a big club, too, of all the different clubs we have on campus. Interact and Optimus, our S Club, are amazing. And then the Culinary, that idea came from a conversation I overheard Esmeralda talking about the food she made and the sort of history. And I thought, well, what a great idea. Why don't we have people come in? So, not to leave you as board members out, but this might be an opportunity if you want to come volunteer your culinary skills, and you can do a dish that maybe your mom made or something that's historical. We'd love to have you. It's an hour prep time and then an hour and a half of actually really showing the kids how to make it. So feel free to reach out to Mr. Burke. The great thing is I won't have to substitute for you in class. You just come and present. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Craig. I could have Karen come, I can't. I barbecue. You know, I barbecue. So moving on to 11.5, student representative, who I forgot at the beginning because your name wasn't on the thing, so sorry about that, apologize. Your report.
Alrighty. So recently in ASB, we've started to finalize some of our plans for prom. We just put down our first deposit for a yacht in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
We put down $1,700 and it just got confirmed by Mr. Wyckoff. We have 2 more payments to make, one more of $1,700 and then a third payment of I think it's $3,400. So we need to raise some serious money.
Bill, do you want to address what your plan is for raising that money?
If we had a plan, I would address it.
I think that was the point.
Let me address the plan.
Well, I thought part of the plan was to come to the district office and ask for support. And we said yes.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to talk about.
Well, the ASB is going to create a cafe after school in the lobby, I guess you would call it. I want to say the word narthex, but that's not right. The lobby of our new gymnasium. And it'll be open from 3:30 on, and they're going to use some of the food that's prepared from the Culinary to do some of this raising money, but also that's going to be a cafe style where they can work on homework and have 5 things. And then they'll stay open during the athletic events during basketball season. So we'll actually have, and then they're going to bring back the student store, and they're looking to buy spirit gear. And so they want to start selling spirit gear to our students and get them all excited about wearing our color. What is it again, Karen? It's
Kelly Green.
Kelly Green. Thank you. I don't want to say green. It's Kelly Green. It's Kelly Green. So that's really exciting too. So
yeah, we wanted to sort of merge the student store and like a cafe sort of thing in the new gym where we would sell merchandise and food. You know, sort of I've said the food that the culinary program prepares, as well as possibly some coffee that we would put there. You know, just we're working on the details, but we have that in the works. And then Dr. Mahoney came and visited the Student Senate and passed out cards with the address for his survey for finding a new superintendent. So he's making good on that. And then also Saturday, we brought a bunch of ASB students and we volunteered at the Ragnar Relay in Napa. And since we sent a bunch of students, I think we sent 7 or 8 students over, they're donating $1,000 to our ASB fund, which is definitely going to help. So we have that money.
That was a good bang for your buck.
Yeah. We only had to work from 2 to 11.
That's even better.
So yeah, I'm sorry.
So the student store, so are ASB students going to be manning that and kind of running the herd on that?
Yeah, the idea was we could open it up to students in general. If seniors needed community service hours, they could volunteer their time there. And then, of course, part of ASB credit is you go and do events like Ragnar Relay, and we would open it up to ASB students as well, so that they could have a chance to get their community service hours in.
Some of the credits they'll be earning will help defer the cost of prom, which they estimate will be around $100 a ticket.
Right now, it's looking at about $85, but yeah, it's
With bus transportation.
yeah, with bus transportation, it's a little long.
That's a key thing. Well, thank you.
Just before we get up, I know with sitting on the board before that a well thought out plan that's written down and comes to the board has often been very supportive of that board. So you guys need seed money to set up the store and not use your ASB, but comes with how you're going to run it, who's in charge, how's supervision going to work, when the cash is paid in, who handles it, where's it going to go. A very well thought out plan tends to get very well supported.
I'll keep that in mind and pass that on to ASB.
Duly noted.
Anything else? All right, moving on. 11.6, LCAP rubrics and annual update template.
As the LTAP continues to morph, this is the latest update, and the good news is that at this point, the State Board of Education has approved basically an 8-year plan that will be effective from 2017 to 2020. So that's good news in a sense. Right now, they were just going through trying to figure it out, and every year we got to go through the whole process of having to revisit it. So anyway, that's just the latest, and I will continue to provide you with that.
Great, thank you. Moving on to the consent calendar. This is a roll call vote. Actions proposed for the consent agenda are deemed routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless any member of the board, the audience, or staff requests specific items to be removed from the consent agenda for separate action. Looking for a motion?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
This is a roll call vote. Student rep. Okay. Clerk Evershin. Trustee Lopez is absent. Trustee DiGiulio.
Aye.
Trustee Hunt.
Aye.
And President Maxwell. Aye. Item 13, action items. Protocol for action items includes a staff presentation, questions from the board, public input, deliberation by the board, and voting by the board. During the public input, there will be a 3-minute time limit per person. 13.1, Dorilli Castellanos Architects DCA proposal.
Now we have been having conversations and going through the process to try beginning the planning for phase 3. And we are here now bringing you the architect's contract basically, which we discussed in the past, and we said we would bring to you to begin the planning very early on in terms of the design. So when the district goes out and issues the GOBs, then the plans will be hopefully close to being approved by DSA.
Questions, comments? All right.
I move that we adopt item 13.1, architect report.
2 seconds. Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Item 14, this is a good one. Special recognition.
everyone knows, Marco is resigning or stepping down from the board. This is his last, finishing his, how many years, Marco?
10 years.
10 years on the board. And it is not obviously an easy service to provide. I know that as board members, recognitions and positive rewards are few. I have always admired each and every one of you because you truly do it because you care about the children in Calistoga Unified School District. And Marco, I know that I will definitely miss you very, very much. And we all will. You are a tough businessman, but always approach every issue from the perspective of being very analytical and very caring. So thank you.
Thank you. It's a privilege, honestly, and an honor to be able to do this. I didn't know what I was getting into 10 years ago. And I'm very glad I did. And I think that's maybe the thing I'll miss the most besides the people. All of you, having worked with all of you has been a real pleasure. What I'll miss a lot is the opportunity to learn more every month and dig deeper into this big, complex world of education that we are all part of. And I think it's so important. So keep up the great work. I know you will. You probably do better without me. And I look forward to seeing and reading all about it.
Well, thank you for your dedication. Thank you for your dedication. Appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, wow. You know me well. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. There's an inscription, it's a clock, beautiful clock. This is a recognition of your years of service to our community, students, and parents of Calistoga Unified School District. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Nicely played. All right, item 15, future agenda items. Tentative December items, Palisades vision goals, first interim financials, which we always need to know. Budget calendar. Item 16, board calendar. Tentative special session, Monday, December 7th or Tuesday, the 8th. So I guess that's still up for us to
Yes.
figure
What
out.
day will work best?
Anyone's fine.
Oh, funny one, funny one.
Good question.
Good question, yes.
December 7th is not a Monday.
Or whatever that day is.
Okay. So I pick the 5th or 6th, or a date that works for us in that
You
week.
know, it needs to be either 7 or 8, depends on Dr. Money's schedule and usually if that works for him.
Oh, okay, so it's just the 7th or the 8th, depending on the day. Okay. Okay, all right. Monday, December 12th, regular board meeting. Monday, January 17th. And, okay, that's it for that. No need to reconvene the closed session. And I'm going to go number 19 to Marco.
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Marty?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Student rep? All right, all right. Congratulations.